Alright, we gotta do some technical shenanigans up here real fast. Because I'm a Mac.
Digital and providers. Manual. Maybe like today they got something to do with the material of it. Oh, like Apple. Yeah. Exactly.
Alright. You hear me? Alright, my name is Bangerter, and yes, that's me using yummy donuts with bacon on top. Anyone ever been to Breeze Donuts? Awesome. I discovered that place when we opened up an office in Portland. We do all kinds of great stuff. So, I'm going to tell you a little about myself. My dad's an interesting guy. How many of you know my dad? So I'm going to put my hand up. He's an awesome guy, but he's also one of the hardest guys ever. And he always pushed me to do my best. And maybe it's only been the last year when I could really appreciate that. But one of the things that when I was little, I was really observant, and I asked my dad how come he didn't become a dentist. Because he used to work in the Navy as a dental technician. He'd make little teeth for people, and he lost his teeth and that kind of stuff. Anyway, he said something interesting. I was about 7 years old. He said, Jason, if I was a dentist, that means I could only work on one mouth at a time. Because I'm a general contractor, I could build 100 houses at once. Oh, that's really kind of good. And I put that in the back of my head. And he had all these other things. I won't go into them. But I also really love Legos. So this is South by Southwest. I played Legos for a while, Lego Day last year. And the thing I loved about Legos is I could build anything I wanted. My creativity would expand. And a little secret, I still play Legos. I played Legos pretty heavily until I was about 15 years old. And the thing I loved about those is you could take and build a form, but if it didn't have functionality, or in other words, if it wasn't engineered properly, the thing would fall apart. And I learned that fundamental lesson from Lego, and how that works in day-to-day life also really affected the way I approach business. Is does the form need to function? And as a creative person, sometimes creatives think of form first and form second, but I think it's very important to hit both. You know, ladies there. Look at that hair. So I was high school, Dan, who was and anyway, still growing up, and I got another bit of advice, but this time it's not from my dad, from my neighbor. I noticed my dad worked his ass off all the time. I sometimes didn't see him why he was building those 100 homes, but usually out of state or a big project, and he would live on the job site. He worked really, really hard. So, anyway, I noticed my neighbor would show up every day at about noon. And he had a big 2-acre house and had horses and all this fun stuff. BWs, all this little stuff, boys like. And he, I remember I tested him and followed around, and I asked him, I said, "Oh, how come you can come home at noon and my dad's got to work?" He's like, "Jason, that's really simple." I said, "Well, what is it to this process?" He said, "I built a process in my business." He said, "Also, But he would go in, work in the morning, and then turn stuff over to other people in the afternoon and leverage their time. So by putting together that process, it allows him to buy his time. And the next thing I learned was I was in California and working for my dad, I think for $3.50 an hour, pretty awesome. I grew up in Palm Desert, so if you know where that is, it's about 120 degrees outside. And my dad, general contractor, and guess who was his #1 ditch ticket? Right here. And as I was digging those ditches, I thought a lot about other things I could be doing for $3.50 an hour. And that's where I started to formulate a lot of ideas. I'll tell you about those in a few minutes. So the big question for me is, all those experiences really boil down to one thing, and that's why do we work? Why do we start our own businesses? What is the reason behind it? For some people, it's money. For other people, it's creating jobs. There's a lot of different reasons why we do something. But for me, and having those experiences, it really had a profound effect on why I chose entrepreneurialism and do what I'm doing. And the big why is really simple. It's so I can spend my time with my family. So that's my wife, my daughter, Dana. That's Grace. That's Ashley. That's Haley. That's Kate. 4 girls. One was the kid in the face. So 4 girls. And they're awesome. And what's great is Kate here, she's starting to be an entrepreneur. She's bringing stuff to school and selling them off and trying to start other businesses. You can buy bracelets for $10. Had my neighbor buy a couple. So that's the reason why I decided to go into this. And this is really how it began. I worked with Nobel. Any Nobel people here? I got a few. So, as we know at Nobel, they like to lay you off. There was a Christmas 2000 where 97 or something, I don't remember. But we showed up, there's 77 of us, and the VP got up and said, welcome to the Christmas party, and he said, you're all fired. And he's like, I'm real sorry, I'm fired too, he said. And, at first that really worried me, and then I realized, holy crap, this is your opportunity to move to be an employee and do what you wanted to do. I had made friends with 77 as an engineer and people at Nobel, and all of a sudden I had 77 clients, and I really did. So I ended up working for more people in the city than I've ever been before, and that's how I made the transition from doing from working for someone to being self-employed. There's some other profound things that happen along the way. One of them is, I'm sure we've all read Rich Dad Poor Dad and Robert Kiyosaki, but he had another book that I like even better called Cash Flow Quadrant. And in Cash Flow Quadrant, he draws out a cash flow or how people think. And the E category is employees. And 80% of the people live in this employee category. Why? Because it's safe. And I experienced that firsthand. It's not really safe when you're working for someone. They can ask you at any moment. In today's market, they do. I do it. It happens. You have cash flow going on behind the scenes. It's crazy. And you've got what employees don't realize is they just think everything is perfect, but behind the scenes, the cash flow is really there. And sometimes it goes like this for a little bit too long. So, employees, I think we all fall in that category. We think it's safe, but it's really not. The next one is self-employed. That's my dad. And what I realized from watching my dad was being self-employed is great until you want to actually unplug from the business. Until you actually want to go on vacation. Because it just doesn't really happen. So the whole time you're growing up, we went on one vacation, and we could never get out of the car. It was driving vacation. He was in a hurry to get to, I think we went to Disneyland, and then I broke my collarbone. So, anyway, that was our family vacation. And self-employed, as some of you may know, being self-employed, you are the person behind everything. There is no process. It doesn't work for me anymore. Be a business owner. So, Novell, for 7 years self-employed, and then we moved into the B category. And the business category is, I think, one of the funnest, exciting parts of either starting a business or running it or whatever. In my opinion, one of the best places to be. The next one is I tried my hand at that. It was flipping houses before the awesome economy hit. And, yeah, that's the I category. Once you know it, you might want to stick to what you know. And that goes for any of this stuff. But there's ways to learn how to move from each category to the other. The thing I do like about the I, you can take the capital and then have the capital work for you. Real great approach. So,
Get a PC.
All this is all.
That was fun. Like an apple to the tree?
Yes. I'm hard rebooting. Alright, last rebooting. I started moving in from being self-employed, and that was a real hard move to do, starting a business, because the first move you make is, man, how am I going to pay for that first employee? I know how to do all this stuff myself. No one can do it better than me. I know all the systems. But until you start to think through how all that stuff works, you'll get caught in that mental cycle. So how do you make that move? How do you make that switch? And that switch became kind of interesting. I picked up out of all the freelance, I just naturally kind of talk to people and network. It's something I love to do. And it's one of the best things you can do, is get to know people. And frankly, help them out before you ask for anything. I'm a huge advocate to be a giver. And you can call me, you can ask me questions. I'm happy to talk to anyone of you. I'm not after anything. And just having that complete, unbiased, or complete giving mentality, I think is one way I've learned to get ahead. So, making that transition really becomes interesting, because you have to know, do I have enough capital to actually pay for my employees? Am I moving in the right direction? Is this really something I want to do? There's some great books and other things out there that have helped me along the way. But more importantly, because I give, I've been fortunate enough to pick up some great mentors that have really been helpful. So in moving to that category, I'll give you some of my secrets. Today, Struck has 85 employees. We're in four states, and are really pushing the limits of how we do amazing creative. And we got some great comments. But in the beginning, I I took all my freelance clients, donated to the business, and then turned to a new business partner of mine, and I said, all right, what's the minimum amount of money you can pay? He said, I don't know. I said, well, figure it out. That's what you're going to make. And he figured it out. He made $1,000 a month. And I said, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I got, right after school, I went to BYU, got a BFA design. And right afterwards, literally the day I graduated, and that was in 2002, I went to school. I got hired by a company called Presidio. And I was going to move back east, but I made too much money to freelance. I said, well, I'm making too much money for it. He's like, all right, I'll make you a deal. This is the president of Presidio. Last year, $1.2 billion. And he said, I'll make you a deal. You can live in Utah, and I'll be your #1 client. I said, all right, that sounds kind of cool. I'll pay you $50,000 a year, and I'll give you full benefits as a W-2 employee. Anything like that? I said, yeah. Okay, done. So I had corporate sponsorship. And as I had corporate sponsorship, I didn't really make hardly anything. I made $402. And we poured all our capital right back into our company and really as quickly as possible. But it was really good. We did crap like, I remember watching one employee letting his, really powerful laptops back then. He literally lugged his desktop home on the weekend to do that. So sometimes you gotta do stuff like maybe a little bit harder. And think outside the box. And I felt like that was some out of the box thinking. The other big part of what I decided, or what I stumbled into was reading one of my favorite books. I sat down and read that thing so many times. And one of my favorite parts of that is actually thinking through that process, like that neighbor I had. And why you have that process and why you need to think through being a big company even though you're small. So what does that mean? That means even in our company today, it's funny, I was just in the studio, I walked around, and my desk is the same desk that I had hand built before, or when we first started, our first month. It's still there, it's stuck, you still use it. And what's great is it still looks as beautiful as ever. That's fits in with the rest of the decor. It's thinking like that, you don't have to buy and reuse stuff over and over. I think it's really at the core of how you think as a human person. So, one of my favorite things about Eunice is thinking through your work chart. So I literally put all my name on every. We made a giant organization, and it wouldn't fit on a standard sheet of paper. It was about this big, and it showed all these employees, or specifically all these job titles and what everyone would do. And my name was literally on half, and my new business partner was literally on half. And we started, as a company, literally crossing people off the bottom, like receptionist. I don't need to do receptionist anymore. I think one of my favorite days was when I stopped doing the accounting. My business partner would ask me, like, all right, I need those reports. I'm like, all right, I'll get those to you. Now I'm a creative person. That's not my cup of tea. So anyway, I was able to, as we moved through, I just read the names off until the very last one, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So let me show you a little about what we do.
Aren't these cute? It's old school gourmet saltwater taffy from
So that's what we do. We kick ass. Okay. These are some of our clients, some of the stuff we've done, the logos for. But anyway, if you need to get to know the Bango guys, I know pretty well. But anyway, working on the creative scene and building amazing brands is just a really exciting part of my life. I love it. And building that company to where we started as a humble beginnings to push it through has been a real great part of my life. So something I've noticed over the years is the leadership and influence go hand in hand, and real leadership is real influence. And if you don't have real influence, you're not a real leader. And that becomes really key if you're trying to start and build a company. Because if you can really influence and enroll people in your business, then you're going to be able to do just about anything you want. You'll be able to fix that. You'll be able to be great at it. And that is one of the most important things I've learned throughout my life, is that influence and that leadership becomes really important. At the same time, that's me. We're doing mustache minute. You can't take yourself too seriously. You gotta have some fun. And last year I won mustache May. That's what it is.
Oh, wow.
Well, my favorite part is driving around my car with the no fear sticker with the Audi and the Mercedes logo. And people drive by and they're like, I can see them just laughing at it, and then I just turn and give them a look and they're like, oh, yeah, that's a deal. But it's the weirdest social experiment ever. So, it really was. So the next thing, some other things that I've learned is you got to avoid this at all costs.
Yeah, something's off sometimes. Parking is an absolute nightmare around here, isn't it? Have reversed into the tiniest of spaces. Still, I managed it. I mean, parking is not exactly brain surgery, is it? And I should know. Careful, I'm a doctor. I'm a brain surgeon. Big difference. Big difference. Yeah, I actually know a joke about this. What's the difference between a doctor and a brain surgeon? One's not exactly brain surgery. The other is brain surgery. So, what do you guys do? I'm an accountant. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I can do with those accountants. Filling in those tax forms can get really confusing, can't it? Still, not exactly brain surgery. Brain surgery, believe me, is very complex. Are you an accountant too?
No, I work for charity.
Oh, that's a very selfless job, isn't it? I really admire you. I don't think I could ever do what you do. I say that because it's emotionally draining, not because it's hard. I mean, not exactly brain surgery, which, as a brain surgeon, is what I do.
I'm a brain surgeon, you know. Yeah, you mentioned it. Oh, Jack, did you make it to the French Center?
Hello, Jeff. How do you want a crust?
I'm fine. I work mainly with rockets. Pretty tough work. What do you do?
Why, I don't mean to boast, but I'm a brain surgeon.
Brain surgery. Oh, I keep rockets there.
Not exactly rocket science, is it? That crap at all costs. So, I'm a big fan of self-evaluation, and one of my favorite things that I've learned over the years is this book out called Strength Finder, and it's now Strength Finder 2.0. And some of you are nodding your head, you got some good strengths out there. And it's a book that allows you to read and really discover what your strengths are or your talents. And when you look into yourself and figure out what makes yourself tick and why you like to do what you like to do, you can then set a course and chart a course for any type of business, or if you're in a business, how you're going to develop that business, whatever the case may be. So I'm going to share with you some of my strengths and how they help me in business. The first one is maximizing. Funny, I got a guy working with me, and his nickname is called Best Boy. I said, how do you get Best Boy in there? He said, I can't buy anything unless it's best. Oh man, that's not always good. But maximizer is never satisfied with the status quo. Always looking for something for the better and your best, pushing the limits, always trying to push yourself. I love this thing. It's a lot of fun. It's also got some downsides, but it's a lot of fun. Ideation. The ability to think through and ideate through complex markets and complex but I love talking to people that are ideas. They can sit down and brainstorm. Want to challenge you to do brainstorm and sometimes something done. Communicator. Communicator takes something that's very difficult to understand and converts that into something that's really easy to understand. Sound familiar in advertising and design? I happen to be in a field that I really love, and I can use those strengths. I think I already said I meant the first thing is future. So future is the ability to see markets in the future and understand how to get to those. Not like a strategist who thinks like maybe someone going to a maze, there's only one way to get there, but someone who has many ways to think through how to get to that one place. And the last one is commander. It's not speak for itself. But those traits are what make me important. And in understanding those things, I've been able to figure out what motivates me and what drives me. And then my favorite thing to do is get partners that really have other strengths that I don't have, like accounting. But having those other strengths and relying on other people is a real big part of what I like to do. So, anyway, Struck's been fun. But someone told me this one day. They said, when you kind of start to get bored, it's like a fat bald guy driving a BMW. And then I realized, holy crap, am I getting fat? Am I getting bald? Am I driving a BMW? I'm not fat, I'm not bald, but I'm getting really close. Anyway, what? That's the only, or I'm sorry, the GCC class for American One. I love cars and racing, it's a lot of fun. But you kind of get to that point in business where you're a fat ball guy driving a BMW. What that means is you kind of just hum going along and it starts to get fishy. And anyway, that's kind of the point where it started to become really honest and something else. Let me show you this little something.
Awesome.
Love that.
That's good.
I didn't do that, but I love it. I mark that video by once a month. It reminds me that, man, sometimes you get it wrong, sometimes you have to record it, So where do we fall on this line of stage, maybe a bagger, someone who's a hype, when we say they do anything, it's reality, they can't deliver. I'd like to think we don't even fall on that line, we live somewhere above it, in truth. So I was trying to figure out what my next do, where I want to go. Take a chance. It's new things and new horizons. So I always start with the why. Why do I want to do something? I'll briefly go into these other businesses. The first is, remember I became a landlord, not by choice, but by the economy. And I quickly learned there was some problems about being a landlord. So I launched a website 60 days ago. It's called Bangerter. Today we have 10,994 listings. We have 30,000 landlords registered with our site. We need 400,000 hits a day. And it is. Now it is math. And here's the real secret behind it. Always partner with other people and give them something before you ask for something in return. So I partner with SL, who is market leader, and told them, listen, you're not monetizing anything in the rental market space. I can do that for you. Keep on doing what you're doing, we'll just take over your rental. Which they never do. So anyway, we created a system where landlords can go and list their properties. So an average slide. But something different than just listing, you can turn around and actually manage the property. Someone said, man, you run construct, it's all cool, and you do all this cool stuff. How can you run on top of this stuff? Well, because there's a big marketplace there, I can see it. So how am I going to mine that market and enjoy myself at the same time? So we can actually set up auto pay and contract through the system. It's all a freemium model. The next thing I want to talk to you about is a product that we created called Movie. Dave Oldham is the end Dave. Okay. CEO of Movie and a good friend of mine who's been for years. It started from this little project we did from testing stuff, taking the API from Twitter, and we just basically built a visualization for it. And it became really popular in the conference. And then the Gatorade folks came to us and said, hey, that was really cool. Can you build something like that? Hey, sure, do it. And then we were done with it. It struck. And I said, wow, I think there's a big market for data visualization. We should get into that market. And so I spun that company out, and at the same time, Dave and I connected, and he was able to raise the first round of seed. This is what it looks like. All those spheres are people talking. I couldn't get it, my internet connection, so I'll be showing you screenshots. But all these spheres are people talking about any particular subject, in this case the NFL. The larger the sphere, the more influence you have. The smaller the sphere, the less influence you have. My sphere is really little, so I don't do a lot of social. But anyway, that's one screen. You can also turn around and do counters and figure out where people are at, do the cookies, that sort of thing. But then you can also compare companies. And I like to think about, there's so much data coming in that we can turn a fire hose into something that you can actually digest and social, or do visualization. So this is comparing, I think it's SUV code and how their social worlds work. And then we can also do direct comparisons in a pie form. But let's not take it to a regular pie form. Let's look at each individual ring at a period of time, and then let's go down those rings so we can see what people are saying in any particular day, and how that influence can be broken down in any particular day, week, or month. And then let's break that down further and take that to a completely different level and break it into all the social networks. So now I can tell where my audience is coming from and what they're doing. You know, what's also how old is someone that's spending time in my social sphere. So this is the depth of some of them logging, how quickly social tracks it. This is real data that we in turn visualize. These are mock-ups in the visualization.
Wow.
But each one of those spheres once again represents people, and that's how the message spreads. They can zoom in, because we've done it in HTML5, and actually look at any one of those people and actually talk back to them and engage. How would you choose? This next slide is interesting. We can take data of where people are located on a geolocation and actually track how people are spreading the message. We might do this if we're Best Buy, and we might discover that there's a big problem in one of our markets. So we zoom in, and we see that Dallas-Fort Worth, there's a manager who's pissing everyone off. We can take this data, fly down to Dallas, and have a little chit-chat with them, and show them what people are saying about it and how important those people are to Best Buy. We can not only take that, but then cross-reference that with the CRM tool, and actually identify who in those spheres are not only influencers, but who are my customers. I'm just spending money. Or how about the NBA lockout? Where are people having that discussion? How's that discussion moving? How's that spreading? Is that positive? Is it negative? What's the market looking like? And so taking that visual way of thinking and applying it to all the other companies is something I really enjoy. Oh, this is so we can do some Q&A. So chat bus fire. Yeah. So anyway, who has questions for me? Oh, I didn't talk about it. We call it body parts, but it's selling human body parts after they're harvested from people to people who need them. Right now, there's a quagmire of all kinds of faxes and all this BS the hospitals have to do, and it waits about a week, and a lot of body parts go to waste. So we figured out a way to put those in the doctors and staff it. Anyway, that's a shot. I like to think about that. Yeah. It's up. It's been up for 60 days. I'm going for some of the staff. So your landlord uses it. Tell me all the problems that I'm fixing. That's why it's data. Yeah. Well, right now we've got an early adopter program, and we just opened it up to some of our bigger clients. So it's been really interesting. Cadillac watched the executives in Cadillac were watching the ads they ran on the Super Bowl, and it wasn't really much discussion going on, as soon as those ads hit, it just lit up. So they're able to see in real time, that's the other part, it's literally real time, not 15 minutes later real time, and I hit speed, it goes in. And it's amazing, it's really fast technology. So we've got some early adopters, and right now we're just working with those early adopters, but then we'll be going into a full product. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Not only see them, but respond back to our Axiom. Okay. Yeah, it's really powerful. Yeah.
When you started, when was that breaking point when you were like, hey, I need to hire someone? Was it monetary? Was it time?
Kind of both. I knew I needed I knew I needed to hire someone. I was scary. You know, when you have to hire your first person. And I just was like 20-hour days. So we just went for it, and it worked out. Like things that I said. Yeah.
Where do you see the recent trend with American Express, where they're monetizing tweets and tying that into an account going?
You know, I can't speak to that. I'll have to look more into that. Frankly, I haven't followed that development at all.
Okay.
Maybe Dave has. He follows all that. Yeah, talk to Dave.
Okay.
He's all knowing. Yes, anymore. Yeah. We have, what time is it? A lot. The other question back.
Yeah, you seem rather unique, even extraordinary in your approach to business and entrepreneurship. What's your team dynamic like? You said you have 85 people. Are you one of those companies that is great?
That's Struck, and we have 85 people, mostly creative at Struck, and they do stuff like shave mohawks and other crap like that. But it keeps us really, really creative. And that's the dynamic there. I think any company, really, the leader of that company completely influences that company. So if you're a goal person, your company can go. I see it time after time. How a company is run and how, if it's disorganized or if it's super organized or if everyone's on pins and needles, all of those back to the other leaders. And it's tough to change that. So when I made that move from my day-to-day position at Struck, I groomed someone for 4 years before I put him in the role of CEO. That was the last thing I crossed off my email was CEO. That was kind of a tough day, I'll be honest with you. But I think it's one of the best days I've had because now I can really pursue other things I'm interested in, like income. And that's something that excites me even more. Yeah.
You're a B and an I guess, if you describe yourself. Currently I'm an S, and I'm trying to move into B, quadrant.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's scary.
Scary.
What advice can you give somebody? I'm probably behind the curve a little bit than most people in here, but what advice can you give somebody that's trying to make that change?
I look for me personally, I look for a creative way to do that, and that was what I explained to you, having my corporate sponsorship. But the way I did it this last time is, I was the fat bald guy driving a BMW, right? I need to get out of that crap. So I actually downsized my life again. It was a real interesting thing. So like downsizing my life and getting back to reality and going back to starter mode has been so fun. It's a challenge, but it's also some of the most fun I've had in years because it's kind of back to those basics. So we can be, even in our normal jobs or even if we're self-employed, sometimes we need to scale back a little bit in order to make things happen. All right, one more.
Going back to bring on
Oh, that is a good question. I have this idea, and I still kind of do sometimes, where I like to share the love. It's a good idea. So I was giving out equity like candy. my first partner, I'm like, tell you what, I had 7 years of business I brought in. I'm like, let's go 50-50. Holy shit, what a stupid move. really good question. I don't like to spread the love anymore, except with performance. So what I do is I hold back some equity if they care about equity. If they don't, I hold back or I share in the profits. So I really pay attention to what matters to other people, and then that's how I dole out things or work with them. And you know, that's just maybe my personality. I'm a real giver, and sometimes it's just to my detriment. So I would just watch how you reward those employees. But I think it's really important to reward people. I mean, one of my favorite employees, number 2, still works there today. I gave him a brand new BMW M Roadster. He was dope. He is one of my most loyal people. I love doing that kind of stuff. So.
Is he fat and bald?
He's not yet. Oh, he is bald, but he's not that. Yeah, lastly, you're all welcome to email me. If it goes below the line, it will never be heard from again. So you might have to email me once or twice since I get a lot of emails every day. But I'm more than happy to talk to you or answer any questions. It's just in my nature of who I am. I'm happy to help out anywhere I can. That being said, I'm really busy these days. Yeah, so anyway, it's been really fun. Thank you.